out the fact that Cornelius is an Israelite. And that's when that whole thing exploded and came into force, which gave other scriptures about on the Israelite foreigners, like Romans 11 chapter, more force and more power and more understanding that was dealing with those Israelites out there that had no clue of who they were.
Yeah, and before that, to show that it was the spirit that was brought out, before the split, Ariel had put it out there that Cornelius might be an Israelite, and he had told Shaw, and basically back then you had guys that kind of hung out with other guys. You had scripture guys that went into the scriptures, kind of hung out with each other when it came to the scriptures. So I was close to Ariel because we used to go back and forth with the scriptures and so forth, And what happened was he had gave it to that's me. He had gave it to Ariel had gave it to Shaw, and Shaw had called me about it, and I didn't want to hear it. And then maybe a couple months later, it was kind of pushed under the rug. I guess Ariel said, "Well, if Tahar don't see it, I'm going to let it lay low," because he never came to me and brought it out again. And then when the split came, shortly after that, Gabar we were sitting down teaching, and we were going into Acts, and Gabar said, "This guy Cornelius might be an Israelite." So I was trying to shut him down because you had young people in there. So we were going back and forth, and then we all saw it, and that's the reason why they kicked us out the main school, because we were teaching that Cornelius was an Israelite, and they had a council, and I was going to go to break it down, but they all said, don't let him try to break it down because he'll convince all of us. Then they'll say, let Gabar do it, because they figured that Gabar, they can deal with Gabar. Hey, but Gabar convinced them, man. Then they got all messed up and out of shape. And one of the main guys that was against it and for putting us out of school was that sneaky little black worm, Nate, who said that we going off. But now that clam, that black clam, he teaches that Cornelius is an Israelite, man. And that's why we talk, and that's why I'm going to call you every name out the book. I'm going to call you a black amoeba, a worm, I'm going to call you everything. Give me some names. A black hot dog, a burnt hot dog, a piece of shit. Because what? A bed bug, a wombat, a black wombat. Sataniel. All right. You know what makes you so wicked is because you found it out, but you didn't say, well, back in the day there was right. Exactly, man. Like he got it, man. But I don't know who had scripture. You had a scripture, okay.
This is back on Elder Ramlab's point. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 12. Seeing then that we have such hope, we use great plainness of speech, and not as Moses, which put a veil over his face, that the children of Israel could not steadfastly look to the end of that which is abolished. But their minds being blinded, for until this day remaineth the same veil untaken away. In the reading of the Old Testament, which veil is done away in Yahweh Shai, but even unto this day, when Moses is read, the veil is upon their heart. Nevertheless, when it shall turn to the Lord, the veil shall be taken away. And now the Lord is that spirit, and where the spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. So like what Elder Tahar said, when the spirit of the Lord allowed them to see it, the veil was taken away, but that's not being taken away with you guys, Yep,
that's right. That's right, because, right now, this is what Paul said in the book of Romans, the 13th chapter, and the let's see. I'm sorry, not Romans. This is our 1 Corinthians, or either 1 Corinthians or 2 Corinthians, the 13th chapter. Just bear with me 1 second. This is 1 Corinthians 13 and 9. It says, "For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. When I was a child, I spake as a child, I understood as a child, I thought as a child, But when I became a man, I put away childish things. For now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know even as also I am known. So now we're at the time when Yahushua is about to make his second coming. So what's happening now is those things that 2,000 years ago were darkened, today they're being made light. Why? Because that day is steadily approaching. So the closer it comes to Yahushua coming back, the more revelations are going to be brought out, and the more mysteries are going to be revealed. Now, this right here is Hebrews, the 10th chapter, and the 25th verse. It says, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as you see the day approaching. So as you see this day approaching, the mysteries are going to start being revealed more and more. And that's why all this information has been being brought out, beginning back then. When we were when the split happened and we had the house of David. But then after that, especially when the Lord opened up things on YouTube, even from that point back in the late 90s until YouTube was open, many mysteries are being revealed. And then when YouTube opened up, even more mysteries are being revealed. So all kind of information was coming out.
Yeah, let me say this. Even one guy, when we first came on YouTube, basically we gave those other guys wings, because they were putting a little 5-minute, video up. Even Nate was doing that. Nate would put up a 10-minute video, because he was on there like a year before we was on there. But I knew about YouTube, but I said I ain't going on YouTube. I ain't gonna put myself in the gutter. But then I thought about it, and I said, well, wait a minute. I said, we can push it out the way we want to push it out, And basically, when we started getting usernames, we would go on Nate's site, and he would have a 10-minute video going. Then it would just stop. And then people would say, well, where's the rest of it? And they would ask questions, and we would actually go on there and answer the questions of these people asking questions on his site, man. And then we started... when we put up videos, well, the first time we put up YouTube videos, we had from part 1 to part 35. Remember? Part 1, huh? That was on the night of the Passover, too, where it was taken down. And now we had one site, and then we went from one site to another site. Then we had backup sites. I got sites on YouTube that I forgot what the username is. I said, if it pops up somehow, I go on my favorites. I said, that's one of my sites. I think it might be one of your sites or whatever. So we got nothing but sites. We got sites on the back burner, so to speak. So when we started doing that, all of a sudden Nate popped up, because we were talking about him like a dog any damn way. All right. All of a sudden Nate popped up. Then he started making a part 1, a part 2. Because the reason why he was doing that, he would put up the first 10 minutes. So you would go to his main site and buy the DVDs, how to break down the book of Daniel, the 7th chapter, for $25, how to break this down. Then we started breaking down everything. We started going into all the breakdowns. And this one brother made a comment, and he said, don't you think you brothers are giving too much of this information away? But he didn't say it to be wicked. He said, this is deep stuff. That's secret. That's, I don't know if I said something or somebody else said something, but I remember that comment that he made back in like 2007, 2008. Right, the scripture said, Matthew, freely you have received, freely give. Okay? Say it on the mic.